Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and we're going to talk a little bit about today, a bit more pitching work. We're going to look at 30 to 80 yard shots, and it's the excitement of getting this shot close to the hole. This is the way I want you to look at it. Okay, that's the important thing for me. This is probably, when I look back at my golf, I was lucky enough to start golf at a very young age, probably 5-6 years of age, and within time I probably could hit the ball about 80 yards. So when you went to the golf course and my dad let me hit some shots into the green and I could get it close to the flag, it was the shot that excited me the most. It was that shot where you're getting the direction right, you're getting the distance right, and now all of a sudden ultimately you've done the shot. You've got the skills to do it. Back then I probably had to do that with like a forward for 80 yards. Now we're talking about doing it with a 52-degree gap wedge. That's what we're looking at. But it's the excitement of that shot. And for me, when I look at the great players and look at any player who's probably been world #1 in golf, the one thing they do brilliantly is they control their distances right. And that comes down to a number of things, okay? Number one, they're consistently striking the ball well. Two, they're always hitting a consistent ball flight. And then from there, they can work out what is the length of swing. And the length of swing is the bit that's important for me, because you can adjust the length of your swing to accommodate these 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 yard shots and use the same club. We're going to show you how you can maintain the same rhythm to allow you to do this. And you may find, depending on where you are with your golf, you may be doing this with a sand iron, you may do it with a pitching wedge. Find the club that works for you. I know you all hit at different distances, but find what works for you. I'm using my gap wedge because that's what I use. That works for me. And for me, it's that excitement of how can I get this ball close to the hole. So first thing I do, and this is the biggest thing I see golfers do incorrectly as soon as they look to play some sort of controlled wedge shot. When they address the ball, I'll do it from this angle to start with so it's easier to see, they stand with like they're going to hit a full iron shot. Straight away for me, that says I'm going to make a big swing. Okay, I know I can hit this club 100 yards. But today I'm only looking to hit it 30 to 80 yards. So I don't want a big setup that creates a big swing, because now I've got too much power and it feels now that I've got to decelerate. I've got to slow that club up as I come into the ball, and that gives me the inconsistency when I strike the ball. So the first thing I would say to golfers, look, narrow that stance. It's the biggest thing I look for. If they go narrower, I know they're now looking for control. So that's the first thing we look for. Number two, this is really important as well. I see golfers automatically grip down the club. I'm not against that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But what I'm saying is when you get on the grass, the lie could be different. So find your distance from the ball. I think that's the important thing. We've got a situation here where the ball, if anything, is slightly above my feet. So if I have a consistent position and now the ball is above my feet, it will probably feel like I'm going to dig the club into the ground. So what I want to feel is go to my body and say, what do I want my body to do? There's my narrower stance, there's my body position, and now if I let my arms hang, where do I now hold the club? And on this occasion you can see I'm gripping probably a good 2 to 3 centimeters down the club. If we were the other way around, let's say I imagine I'm hitting the shot back to the camera and now the ball is below my feet, look what happens if I now grip it down the club in that position. It feels now I've got to bend over more. If I just find my posture again and now grip it, now I'm gripping at the top of the club. So the one consistency I'm doing with those two things is I'm creating a body position through my narrower stance and my feeling then of where I am, where I'm gripping the club to fit the shot in front of me. Okay, so that's really important to me, because they're the two things I find then is easier to control your power, but more importantly, is easier to get a consistent strike on the ball. Okay, if you automatically grip down at the bottom of the grip and the land changes, you've then got to adapt your body. It all feels you're having to make 4 or 5 different setups. I'm making one setup and then adapting the club to fit me, not holding the club and creating 5 or 6 different setups. Okay, so that's really important to me. That's a key thing. So then that allows me, because my body feels the same, it feels now I can make a consistent swing. So we're just going to play some shots. I've measured it out. It's 30 yards to our first post. That's going to be our first shot today. And then we've got the 80 yarder, which is the second post. My posts are 50 yards apart. So what do? What do I want to make sure I do when I hit the ball is I want to make sure the full loft of the club is there, because that's the club I've chosen, and I want to make sure I'm getting the ball, and if I do happen to take a divot, the divot will be after the ball. So we've narrowed the stance. I'm going to come back this way again, and what I do then with my body, and you can see my microphone, is I want to get the microphone initially in line with the ball, but I'm actually going to move it slightly ahead of the ball. And people say to me, do you put more weight on your front foot? Do you feel even? Do you feel more on your back foot? Well, the one thing, I'd never chip off my back foot unless I'm on a very severe upslope. But if I'm on a flat lie, I play it so the sternum, middle of my chest, my microphone is just favouring the front of the ball. And that then, if I let my hands go in line with that, they'll feel fractionally ahead of the ball. That's the key thing. I want my hands slightly ahead. If I come back to that position, then the low point of the swing is when the club head catches up to the handle. So if the handle's over there, the ball is there, the low point is now ahead of the golf ball. And that's going to give me the consistency of strike, that I'm going to get the ball first, so no turf. That stops the chunking one that just goes in 2 feet in front of you. You're going to get the ball first, but because my setup's right, I'm going to get it right at the bottom of the arc. It's going to give me a consistent strike. It's going to give me the result that I want. So that's the key thing I'm looking for there. Now, the next thing is power. How much power do you put into it? And all I'm going to change through these 2 shots today is the length of my backswing. But the one thing I'm going to make sure I do is I commit 100% to every shot. And I have a mental picture that the distance that I swing back this side, I will swing through the other side. Okay, that's my mental picture. If I actually do it correctly, the chances are my follow through may be actually a little bit shorter. And the reason for this is because I hit the ball and then I hit turf after the ball, it will slow the club up. Okay, I see a lot of things, and there's a lot of pros out there, they do a lot of good video. I'm never going to say bad things about another pro, but I see a lot of the time people encouraging you to finish your swing up here from a really small backswing, and then you're finishing here because they don't want you to slow up. My problem with that then is if you're trying to get up there, you're going to swing the club up. All I see all day long is people thin and top the balls off the other side of the green. Look at somebody like Severiano Ballesteros, okay? For me, the greatest short game player ever. Never scared to make a backswing, never scared to have a bit of wrist cock, okay? And his arms would swing through. So whatever he did this side, he did this side. If he made it bigger, he made this side bigger. If he made it shorter, he made this side shorter. That's what worked. And he then created a great rhythm. And that's the bit we're going to talk a lot about in these shots that I'm going to play. So when I play the 30-yarder, it's instinctive. I'm not thinking exactly how far to go back. I'm not a clock face idea thinking you should be going 7, 8, 9. Feel the shot. Work it out. Okay, so narrow stance, sternum at the front of the ball, a little bit of weight left side. From there, I swing back, pop it through, and what am I looking for? Well, that landed, if that's 30 yards, that landed 29 yards. And that's the only thing I'm interested in when I practice on a practice ground. How far am I carrying the ball? Because the conditions of the greens will alter consistently throughout the year, especially in the UK. So the one thing you're looking to get is, can you control the distance? Now, this is the important thing. There was no feeling there of whacking the ball. It was letting the club consistently flow through, and want to get 100% commitment to that idea. Gravity is my best mate when I chip. Okay, so from there, if I swing back through, and you can see as I get through, and that's landed probably about 32 yards, so it's a little bit further, but that's only 3 yards difference over those shots. Okay, felt good, felt really good both shots. So now I know for that distance, the feel that I had, I don't know exactly where the club went, but I'd say it probably went to about here. Okay, but you feel the shot. If you are somebody who likes the clock face idea and it works and it gives you a set position, please use it, okay? It doesn't work for me, it creates tension. It doesn't feel like I can swing it past that point. And the biggest thing I see with golfers, because you're told to accelerate the club, I don't see a big enough backswing. And I will have a backswing on a pitch. I want to get the club up to let it have some energy. More people fluff their chip shots because they go too short and then they're trying to force the energy. Give it enough. Even if you pitch it too far, doesn't matter. You can then use your instinct to do less. It's a bit like throwing a ball. If I said to you throw a ball and you kept throwing it too far, you'd just swing your arm a little bit less. You wouldn't, back here and you're going too far, you just do a little bit less. So the same thing with this. All right, so those two are nice. Now, the one thing you'll see, and people pick up on my shots, is my tempo isn't going to change now I go to 80 yards. What's going to change is my swing gets bigger. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create a very similar setup. I might go a tiny bit wider to feel like I am going to make that bigger swing. Ball position, sternum. So I've got that ball position back in my stance, sternum ahead of the ball, a little bit of weight left side, and now just feel that bigger swing, same rhythm and tempo. And let's see what we get. We watch the ball, it's a little bit left. I'd say that probably flew about 75 yards. So okay, first go, pretty good. It was a little bit left. If I did that on a game, the likelihood is, just looking at that, I'd probably ended up about 25-30 feet away. So not a great shot, but it's okay. I'd be on the green. These ones would be really good. Okay, now what I'm also interested in, why did that ball go left? And we have got a very slight ball above my feet position, so that may be it. But the first thing I would always check, did I aim properly? Okay, because I'm talking to the camera, maybe I didn't. I was talking more about the rhythm and tempo. So this one, let's take a little bit more time aiming the club, getting the body right. And now let's go with that same power, because that was pretty good. 75 yards, we're looking for 80, so it's close. Through, that's more on line. Okay, so this is what I find. If you're actually quite good at the shot, some days what happens is you feel like you may have slightly adjusted, but I think I've hit that 75 yards again. What I've improved is the direction. So I'm probably now within 15 feet of the hole, or 15 feet of our target. But remember, I should be landing it there. So I've landed that 5 yards short. So again, let your instincts take over. Same setup, check the club face. Okay, just let your instincts take over. Nice, secure, but light grip pressure. Through. Now that wasn't as nice a strike, but amazingly it got the right distance. That's probably landed 79. That landed about a yard in front. And sometimes this happens. You don't always hit the perfect shot, but you still get an okay result. Why? Because you're keeping so many things consistent. I'm keeping my setup consistent. I'm keeping my rhythm, my idea consistent. Okay, and that's the big thing that I want you guys to do with your games. So again, let's do it again. And you may find you're better at the 30-yard shot, you're better at 50, you're better at 80. Practice the one you're not so good at. I'm not doing so well on the 80, so let's hit a few more 80s. And that was lovely. That's the strike I want. Now, did I make the right swing? Yep, bang on the 80 yards. So if you start to find you're doing that one well, here's your next test. Okay, we're going to jump forward what I would do normally in my practice. Let's say I hit 3 or 4 of them, lovely. Go back to the 30. Can you adjust? Again, let your instincts take over on the width of stance. The sternum stays the same. The weight stays the same. All I'm changing is the length of the swing. And we're back on the target just before the post. So again, around about that 29 yards. So really good. And I find, as I said, because I enjoyed this shot so early on in my golfing life, it's still the shot today that gives me the most satisfaction. Because it's not like the drive where you're just hitting it a long way, and as long as you're on the fairway you think, well, I've got a shot. It's now the fact that you've put that ball the right distance and direction. It's so satisfying. So we're looking at those 30 to 80 yard shots. Okay, again, if I was practicing, I've hit that to the 30. Now let's hit it to the 80. So you're testing yourself, you're checking out your skills to see if you can adjust, because again, you might get a 30 yarder on the 3rd hole and an 80 yarder on the 6th hole. And again, struck that lovely, and we're pretty much bang on the 80 yards that we want. So as you do it more, your feel improves, your sensation of what you're looking to achieve gets better. And again, what I will say to everybody, we've said this in other videos, it may take a few practices to get this idea. Experiment with different clubs. Find what works for you, okay? I used to always use my sand iron. Now I feel more comfortable with my gap wedge. I've played golf for a long, long time at a very high level. Okay, I've been a professional now for pretty much 35 years. And I've changed that because that's what works for me at the moment. I've still got the sand iron shot if I want it. I've got a lob wedge if I want to use it inside 30-40 yards. But this just seems more comfortable to me. Find the clubs that work for you. I hope you've enjoyed that video. It's working on that 30 to 80 yard shot, keeping that consistent setup, narrow that stance, get that sternum in a consistent position, weight correct, but feel the swing. Your backswing is your power. Let that swing through the ball. Commit 100% to the shot, but feel the same rhythm and tempo. If the club's coming from a higher position, it will be naturally accelerating more than the shorter swing. Please don't be the golfer who's trying to make a big follow through, because you'll find you are that player who probably is thinning and topping a lot of your shots. Let that club reach the bottom of the ball and you're going to have a lot more fun on these shots. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please subscribe to the channel and I look forward to seeing you soon.